Hello, everyone. Vinci here. Welcome to episode 4 of Vinci Rambles. And today we're going to talk about something that I've been asked so many times, and I'm honestly just tired of answering it. So I'm going to make a video and just link people here whenever they ask. And that question is, how did I become a furry? And I've told the story a couple times, and by a couple I mean a couple hundred times during my live streams on Twitch. I'm gonna go ahead and tell it here. Maybe go into a little bit more detail. Obviously, I'm gonna leave names and a bit more sensitive stuff out because it is a very personal experience for me. But I will give you guys the gist of it here and now. So, to start, um, I became a furry because I was tricked. Yes, I was tricked by a very good college friend at the time. Here's what happened. So, my buddy approaches me after class and was like, "Hey, you want to go to a convention with me?" And I was like, "Hey, that sounds like fun. I have no life. I'm a college kid. So yeah." And me being me was like, ooh, like an anime convention, a comic book convention. I didn't ask because, we were both big weebs and big comic book fans, so I assumed that's what we would be doing. There's conventions year round. I assumed we'd be going to one of those. So the day comes, I go over to his place, we get into his car, we get driving. We're going towards Indianapolis, and I know there's cons in Indianapolis, so I wasn't surprised yet. Um, I got suspicious when he he wouldn't tell me what the name of the convention was. He was like, "Oh, I forget. What was it called again?" But I wasn't upset because hey, I'm dumb too. All my memories taken up by cartoon openings still. So we get to the hotel, and this is when the proverbial shit hit the fan. Uh, so we pull in, and I see a whole bunch of people in animal costumes just frolicking around outside the hotel. And I do a slow turn to my friend who looks incredibly guilty, and he's like, I forgot to mention it's a furry convention." And me being a good friend at the time was like, "What the fuck?" And he's like, "I'm sorry, I didn't think you'd come. I didn't want to go alone." And he was one of my best friends at the time, so I wasn't gonna just back out. We were here. I didn't have anything against furries at the time. I really didn't know much about them, and I am a pretty open individual. So I was like, "Okay, okay, I'm not gonna judge. I'm just gonna we're gonna go. I'm sure there's stuff that we can do. There's probably food and booze. It'll be okay." So, um, we parked the car. I help him unload what now made sense, a couple totes of what I would eventually learn was his fursuit. So, okay, we go into the hotel. There's fuzzies all around, lots of floof, and I'm doing one of these, just kind of looking everywhere. You know, furs of all sizes, and some of them I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool. That's pretty neat. And then others where I'm like, just gonna step over here a little bit. Yeah, you can go by. Scary large animal. But no, yeah, we get up to the hotel room. Unpack. I'm like, are you gonna, I guess, change into costume? And he's like, "Oh no, I'm gonna wait till later. I'm tired. Let's go get food." So okay, we go down to the little like cafe in the hotel, and they have a furry themed menu. I don't know what I got, but I just thought to myself, this is kind of silly. Um, we eat, food is good. There's people with like their heads kind of just sitting next to them on the table. eating and hanging out, people in partials. And I'm like, well, this is okay so far. I mean, this isn't that much different than like an anime convention. It's just everyone's a lot more fluffy. So, okay, fine. It's fine. Not a big deal. So, after we eat and kind of roam around, and we looked at like more fuzzies, went to the dealer's den, a couple other places. He went back up and got in the costume, or, his fursuit. And he asked me, "Will you be my handler?" And I'm like, "Whoa, buddy. What does that mean?" He's like, "Oh, no, 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 no. Just make sure I don't like run into anybody." And I'm like, "Oh, can you not see well?" "No." "Oh, okay, that makes sense actually." So yeah, he had like it's like a blue and green like wolf suit. I'll see if I can find any pictures of it. It's been a while. And so, I'm kind of like trying to figure out what I need to do. So I'm like, okay, there's a small child in front of you. Kick it as hard as you can. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. And, just making sure we're just walking around. He's giving out hugs. I receive a couple hugs I wasn't expecting. They were kind of nice. They kind of fluffy. And yeah, everything goes well. Everything was fine. At the end of the day, he's like, "Hey, do you want to try my suit on?" And I'm like, "Nah, I'm not really that interested." And yeah, that was it. The rest of the convention went smoothly. We were there for 3 days. Um, Went home, and that was, I thought, the end of it until he asked me to go to another one. And I couldn't help but think, you know what? I had fun. So I was like, sure, let's go. So we went to another, and then another, and it wasn't until what year was that? 2017, 2018? My brain is failing me. Maybe 2019 even. I'm getting too old. He's like, "Hey, we're going to a convention again. Would you like to come?" And at this point, I was kind of like, I don't think I do. I feel kind of because at this point, I had met lots of his friends. They all had suits, and I felt kind of left out. I wanted to At that point, I wanted to dress up and have fun too. And he's like, "Well, I'm sure we could find you one." And I was like, "No, I don't want to wear somebody else's. I wouldn't want one that like is me." And he's like, "Oh, okay, I understand. Not a big deal." It wasn't probably an hour later. He sends me a link. "Hey, check out this suit. Oh, it would so suit you. It's a dragon and everything. It's red. It's really cute." And I'm like, What? Okay." And then I look at it, and it was actually the suit that I have now. Skaldrin. He's a red Drago. He's what all my avatars are based off of. Yes, the red, the orange, the black, the tummy. And I look at it, and I'm like, "Oh, that's really cool." But I can. It was expensive. I was like, I cannot afford to drop that kind of money. And he's like, "Okay, I understand. No worries, no worries." And that was the end of it, or so I thought. Now, unfortunately, after that, later in the week, my good friend who I'd gone to all these conventions with was in an accident, and I ended up, losing my what I probably could have called my best friend at the time to a drunk driver. So he was no longer with us. It was a bad time. It was a very bad time. And while I was mourning, I was looking at our Discord messages, reminiscing, and there was that link for the suit, and it was still up for sale. And I decided right then and there, I bought it. Didn't even think about it. I bought the suit. It was mine now. And I went to in August. I went to the same convention that he took me to for the very first time, and I suited up, and I just went and did it, and in kind of in memory of him is what kind of pushed me to do it. And it's all history from there. That's kind of how I became a furry. I was tricked, and then I lost a friend, and then I got a suit, and then I just went with it. I went to MFF after that one in my suit. I went to First Squared after that one, and then the pandemic hit, and all conventions were canceled. Frowny face. Ugh, but I just Yep, it was just kind of all in memory of. It's all thanks to him. He did this to me. How dare he? And no, it's fine. I couldn't thank him enough. This community has made me so many friends. I've made so many wonderful friends. Met so many amazing people. VRChat has definitely kind of made me way more than a furry than I was. Just because, hey, I can be furry anytime I want and I don't have to sweat. But no, that's the gist of the story. It's a little sad, yes, but it doesn't make me sad anymore. I just remember all of the wonderful time we spent together, and I just remember those fond memories. And with that, I'm gonna wrap it up. Hopefully that answers your guys' question about how I became a furry. If you want to see more content like this, you guys know the drill. Dingy dangle that bell, hit that subscribe, leave a comment. I don't know. Watch me on Twitch. Join my Discord. You guys know the drill. It's enter typical YouTube shrill here. Bam. You guys got that. Hey, until next time, you guys take care. I love all of you. Oh, bye bye. Wow, 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 wow. Ooh, 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 ooh. Uh huh.